This is a special event. It is the Heisman Trophy of defense. It is the award that gives back to a side of the ball that doesn't get as much glory. Thank you, Charlotte.
What a high level of excellence Bronco Nagurski brought to the game. He's an inspiration to anyone who loves the game of football.
My football story is not about playing for the Carolina Panthers. My football story is from the time I was 5 years old, all I ever wanted to do was play for Wayne Hills High School in northern New Jersey.
I was a part of something, and the purpose of what we were working for was greater than any one of us.
We come out every day to compete, and the only way we can get better is we, compete against each other hard.
It's important to note that sometimes the signs that we ask for are right there in front of us. Win or lose, there was always a message in there. It's about what we do with the adversity we face.
You can have a dream, but you better be prepared for that opportunity.
It's a lot of hard work. Nothing is given. You have to earn everything.
Honored to be here today. You do such wonderful work. The funds you raise for scholarships around the area, that's wonderful.
A very heartfelt thank you to members of the Touchdown Club for your support of 16,000 plus students who you all are impacting annually. Studies show that GPAs and graduation rates are higher, absences and dropout rates are lower.
What I've learned in my life is you can accomplish anything in this world. If you want to do something bad enough, you'll find a way.
But it's important that everybody in this room and beyond understands that it starts with us. You see these kids on the come up, you gotta let them know.
Football was a gladiator sport. Only gladiators played football.
Tonight, you're going to get a glimpse of excellence of our finalists and what they have brought to this game. Their dedication, passion, and brute strength, along with their ability to make key plays during crucial moments in big games.
The Football Writers Association of America and the Charlotte Touchdown Club are proud to present the 2020 Bronco Nagurski Trophy to Zaven Collins from the University of Tulsa.
Thank you to the Football Writers Association for presenting me this trophy and selecting me to be the Nagurski winner. Thank you to Charlotte Touchdown Club and Lending Tree for entrusting with me and putting my name on the trophy. It really means a lot to me.
Him winning this award is just a tribute to him, his family, our program, this university.
He's going to lead those guys to some wins, too. I really believe Sam can play well.
Growing up around the game, I have a deep and abiding respect for those who have paved the way. Bronco Nagurski was a true pioneer of our game.
All right, we're ready to get going. Charlotte Touchdown Club, how's everyone feeling today? Good? Yes? Hot enough, as we like to say. I see a lot of red out there. Do we have a lot of Wolfpack Nation out there today? We got like one of these? I sent a lot of money to that school. I got 2 kids that went to school there, so I feel with you. Wolfpack Nation, of course. Philip Rivers is here today, so we're excited about that. Philip is at the table with 9 children. If you see him anywhere nearby, that's... we don't even have room for 9 at the table, I don't think. Also want to mention, hey, it is hot. What is that ice creamery that they have on campus at NC State? Is it the what cow? The Howling Cow? Howling Cow. Good ice cream up there at NC State. We have a former NC State player with us today as well. Current New York Giant B.J. Hill is also here today amongst us. Hockey VIPs, we've got Mike Hartman and Jeff Brubaker. Thanks to our sponsors. If you walked outside, you saw WBT, WFNZ, Kyle Bailey out there doing his show. I know Matt Doherty, noted Wolfpack fan, part of that show today. All right, Tar Heel fan. Also, thanks to Springs Creative for being our headline sponsor today as well. We appreciate all you taking time and not being on summer vacation this week to join us today, and excited to have Philip Rivers here as well. We got a lot of announcements we'll get to later, but do want to tell you a couple of things. The hand sanitizer, courtesy of the club sponsor team member, BioArmor, proud recipient of the 2020 National Veteran Business Development Council's Business of the Year. And want to alert you that on Saturday, 9/11, Salute to Heroes Charlotte Foundation, along with presenting partners, the Charlotte Knights, Truist Bank, and Harris Teeter, hosting a celebration of Heroes, 20th anniversary of 9/11 at Truist Field in Uptown Charlotte. And that evening will feature the Charlotte Chiefs Cup baseball team against the CMPD Blue Hornets, CFD Blaze. And you can get all that information online as we pay tribute to the 20-year anniversary of that. So we're going to, yes, sir. wait, I did not know this. We have 2 more. And I just got to see him in Belmont, I think about 2 years ago at Nellie's. Derek Wittenberg is in the house today as well. And where is Ray Robinson? Same table. Ray Robinson and Derek Wittenberg both here. It's like the Raleigh Touchdown Club today. Y'all have taken over. I saw where Raleigh-Durham's like the #2 best place in the whole country to live right now. Charlotte didn't even make the top 10, but we should have. Before we get to lunch, real quick, I want to do our invocation. And welcome to the podium, the pastor from First Presbyterian Church in Mooresville, Pastor Dave Rockness, for today's invocation for lunch. Dave.
Let's join our hearts together in prayer. Please join me. Heavenly Father, we express gratitude for the privilege of being here for this luncheon today. Most people, if not all in this room, we've benefited from coaches and sports teams and folks that have poured into our lives. Now we take the opportunity to say thank you for so many in this room that are now mentors, coaches, teachers, sponsors. We see so much value in reaching into young people's lives and providing sports where they can develop character and teamwork. We thank you for our guest speaker today, for him making the time and desiring to share with us, Philip Rivers. We thank you not only for his giftedness, but for his faith, his commitment to family, and his desire to serve the community. What a treat to be here. And we ask your blessing on this time. We ask your blessing on the food as well. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Dave. All right, so when we come back, we got raffle items. So have your raffle tickets ready. Reminder, you can pick up your raffle items that you buy out here in the auction area afterwards before you leave. We got some other great guest speakers. Tony Haynes, color analyst for the Wolfpack Radio Network, will help us when we introduce Philip Rivers here. But enjoy lunch. We'll see you back here in about 25 minutes. All right, folks, we're going to get going here. I keep hearing that music. It's like Shark Week music or something, so I guess that's our clue. If you've got your raffle tickets, we got raffle ticket items here. We have 4 items to give away, most of which involve Philip Rivers by coincidence. Thanks to Sarah. She's going to pull the numbers here, right, Sarah? Sarah's got the numbers, so when you hear your number, come forward. And the first one is for a helmet autographed by Philip Rivers. 144508, if you got it. Run excitedly to the front of the room. Do we have it? Come on up. Come get your helmet. Here she comes. We would bring it to you, but that would be extra effort. All right, so that's the Philip Rivers helmet. And photo up. Let's hear it for our winner. All right, next up, a football autograph by Philip Rivers. Sarah selects 144524. 144524. Who's got it? Last 3 are 524. Nobody leaves till we get a winner. Anybody? 144524. Yes, we got a winner. Same side of the table. Congratulations. Let's hear for our winner of a Philip Rivers autograph football. All right. I told Sarah that always happens to me. That was from the same side of the room. All right, I'm feeling the left side of the room here on this one, maybe the middle. This is a mini helmet, which is just like a helmet, but it's mini, and it's autographed by Philip Rivers. Winning number is 144576. 576. Right side of the room. No, not the same table, just the same side of the the Banquet Center. Let's hear it for our mini helmet winner. That's all right, we got another chance. All right, let's see if the right side of the room is not going to win this time. This is for the 2019 Bronco Nagurski football autograph by the Panthers' Derek Brown, Chase Young, Isaiah Simmons, Antoine Winfield, and J.R. Reed, and it goes to number 144346. 346. 144346. What, from the right side of the room? Do you feel the room's kind of slanted in this way? They got all the merchant. They got all the merch. Congratulations. Thank you, Sarah. A reminder for those of you who placed bid on silent auction items, you can pick those up and pay for your items before leaving outside. Last bids will be taken 10 minutes following the conclusion of the luncheon. You have one more chance to win. It happens right at your table. So, there's a football table centerpiece giveaway. The winner of the football centerpiece at each of your tables is the person at each table with the program flyer with an NC State Wolfpack sticker on the back that says, "You are the winner." So if you've got your Wolfpack sticker on the back that says, "You are the winner," then you are in fact the winner at your table. There's one at every table. I like the tables where there's more chairs than people. It's like chasing a foul ball into the empty stands. They go from seat to seat. All right, congratulations if you won that at your table. Warm welcome to some of our special guests in attendance today, our high school and middle school coaches, athletic directors, and administrators. And folks, last but not least, certainly please, let's give a warm welcome to all of our current and former U.S. military heroes in attendance today. For those of you in the military, if you would stand up so we could recognize you today, thank you for being here as well. Appreciate you. Thank you for your service and for being here today. Before we get to Tony Haynes to introduce Philip Rivers, let's bring on our privileged staff from Charlotte Mecklenburg Schools, Superintendent Ernest Winston, Charlotte Touchdown Club, and CMS, proud to sponsor and partner for 30 years together. Please give a warm welcome to the podium for Superintendent Ernest Winston.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is exciting to be back with you. I was here last month, had the privilege of hearing Chicago Bears Hall of Famer Mike Singletary speak and thoroughly enjoyed his story, and I'm glad to be back and joining our CMS team, our athletics director, Sue Duran, and assistant athletic director, Ken Butler, as well as several of our middle school athletic directors. And I want to just really thank you all for this opportunity to share a few brief remarks with you all. And thank you to all of the organizations, the foundations, and companies and individuals for all that you all do to contribute to football, but also athletics as a whole in Charlotte, in Mecklenburg County, and certainly in Charlotte Mecklenburg schools. It seems just like yesterday that several of our CMS high school athletics teams were finishing up the previous school year. And I think, as this crowd knows, One of our schools capped off the year with the second straight state football championship. And I had the privilege yesterday to participate in a renaming ceremony for that school, which is now proudly called Julius L. Chambers High School. Now, our school year officially begins July 1st. So now we are in a year which our focus is on returning to as much normalcy as possible for both of our students and our staff members. Now, for our student athletes, that means that football season is in the fall, where it should be. Traditional season dates are the plan for all of our athletic teams, actually. And so what this means is that with the previous season barely behind us, we're getting ready to begin a new one. And more football and other sports in close proximity to the previous season. And maybe that is the one thing that those of us who love athletics can be thankful for during the challenging times that has been the pandemic. And I want to just take a moment to reflect as our student athletes, as they prepare to embark on a new year. And in that spirit, I want to thank you all once again for the millions of dollars that you have contributed. And I know while the focus of the Charlotte Touchdown Club might be football, the money that you provide enables multiple sports to benefit. You know, our athletic programs in CMS and throughout this metro area are strong. And we're able to offer our student athletes more opportunities in large part because of what you all do to help us. We could not, and let me say that again, we could not have the strong athletic programs for our student athletes if it were not for the work of all the sponsors that contribute to this organization. And so I'm reminded of how important athletics are to our students and to this community. When just a couple of nights ago, our board voted to make sure that more students have the opportunity to participate not just in athletics, but in extracurricular activities as we move forward into the next school year. And that was done so that the opportunities for those students who were motivated academically through athletics and other extracurriculars, even as the impact of the pandemic continues to be felt by so many in so many ways. And so I want to end by thanking you all once again for what you all do. And I cannot understate this, for what you all do to contribute to the success of our students and our programs. I cannot express the deep appreciation enough that I have for what you do for our student athletes, our coaches, our families, and all of those who are involved in our athletic programs. From the bottom of my heart, thank you, thank you, thank you.
All right, thank you, Ernest. Great job, great speech. So where are my Wolfpack people again? NC State folks, let's hear from you. All right. Do we have any Duke Blue Devil people here today? One. Right there. My next guest to introduce Philip Rivers has, for over 20 years, I think 22 years, been the color analyst for the Wolfpack Radio Network. Prior to that, spent 12 years with Duke football. We forgive that, except for the one man there in the blue shirt who's excited about that. Please welcome to the stage to help introduce our guest speaker, Philip Rivers, from the Wolfpack Radio Network color analyst, my good friend Tony Haynes.
Thank you, Jim. July 15th, y'all ready for football? I say y'all in honor of our featured speaker today, who hails from Athens, Alabama. BJ Hill, getting close, right? Time to go to work here soon. It's an honor for me to be here. I was very fortunate to broadcast all 51 of Phillip Rivers' games when he was at NC State. And by the way, he started 51 consecutive games, which is an NCAA record. So coming over here today, I'm trying to figure out, well, what do you talk about? There's so many games, so many memories, so many incredible moments over the course of 4 years and 51 games. And amazingly, the game I kept coming back to was his first game. You think about the year 2000, NC State had made a coaching change and hired Chuck Amato, great alum, who played on one of the Wolfpack's great teams in 1967. Now, these days, it's not unusual for kids to graduate from high school early, come in second semester, and join the team for spring practice, which is a big advantage. Well, it turns out Phillip was kind of the poster child for that. He graduated early. He won the job in spring practice. So it was on September 2nd of 2000 that he was going to make his debut in an NC State uniform. It was the coaching debut of Chuck Amato as well. And the opponent was powerful Arkansas State, a team that would go on to win one game that year. So you figure, well, we didn't know how good NC State was going to be. They made a coaching change. But you're going to get that confidence-boosting win in the opener against Arkansas State, right? Well, unfortunately, Arkansas State had other ideas and actually led the game by 3 points with just a little more than 2 minutes to play. Making matters worse, the weather was awful. There was a drenching rain that had been falling all night. Poor Ray Robinson over here, couldn't even see his number. It was covered up by mud, you know. He'd been dragging around in mud all night. And all of a sudden, State's starting this drive late in its own, way back in its own territory, trailing by 3 points. And now you got to rely on this true freshman to come on the field, try to get you at least in field goal range. So number 17 trots out there, and he calmly marches the pack down the field. And in fact, NC State does get into field goal range, kicks the game-tying field goal, and eventually the Pack won the game in double overtime when Phillip Rivers hit Corn Robinson with a touchdown pass. Upset averted. We didn't know it then, but we certainly know it now. An NC State and an ACC legend was born that night. And when he finished his college career at NC State, he set ACC records for passing yards, completions, touchdowns, and only one player in the history of NCAA football at that time, Ty Detmer, had thrown for more yards. And then, of course, we saw the brilliant 17 years in the NFL. So this season, it's going to be strange not seeing old number 17 trash talking and flinging footballs around. But it reminds me of a sign I saw at Yankee Stadium when Derek Jeter played his last game. The sign said, "Don't be sad that it's over. Be happy that it ever happened at all." Phillip Rivers is coming up, but enjoy these highlights.
Phillip Rivers came from Athens, Alabama. At 6'5", you could tell he was hard to break down back then.
He was.
All right, let's get to it. He is number 5 all-time in the NFL history for passing yards. He's number 5 all-time in the league for touchdown passes. He's an 8-time Pro Bowl player. He has 9 children. He played 17 NFL seasons. Please welcome number 17, Philip Rivers.
I've been getting asked, do I miss it? Golly, watching that video made me miss it a little bit. Hadn't missed it much. So it was Friday. Those Friday nights before those Saturday games, we always had a meeting over there at Weisinger Brown, the old Weisinger Brown building. And it was one of those Friday nights. Chuck Amato was at his best. He was going from thing to thing. Sometimes those meetings lasted a long time. They were always very thorough and good, but they lasted a long time. Ray remembers those. But one particular night, I think it was the night before he played Wake Forest. I'm not sure what year I was in school. He, as we all can do, as I may do here in a little bit, you kind of get out of whack and you get off track. And he was on some percentages thing with where ball possession and where you had the ball on the field. And he got it backward. I don't know that it holds up, but he got it backwards talking about, hey, if we got the ball on our 40-yard line, we have a 60% chance of scoring. And if it's on our 30-yard line, we have a 70% chance of scoring. And we're kind of sitting there going, what in the world is going on, you know? So he finishes up. Well, the next day, our very first possession, it's rainy and it's wet, and they punt us down in there on our 1-yard line. And it's TV timeout. And, you know, for those of you that played and those of you that still play, you know, that first snap, that first series, especially when you're standing out there in a packed house at Carter Finley, I mean, there's nerves going and until you get going, and then it's good. So I stepped in the huddle. I said, hey, guys, get in here. Get in here. I know one thing. We got a 99% chance to score a touchdown. And that kind of broke the ice and relaxed everybody a little bit before that first drive. But it's great to be here. I want to thank, it's great to be back in North Carolina. It's been a long time, a couple spotty trips to Raleigh, but it's been a long time living way out there on that West Coast. But it's great to be here. Thanks to John Rocco and Alan Tyson. A handful of emails back and forth. And thanks for the invite to get me back here. It's a pleasure to be here in front of you. It's hard to believe it was 21 years ago and some change that I stepped foot on campus there at NC State. And, you know, I think back, a couple of us talking about Coach Joe Pate. Joe Pate recruited me. He was a linebacker coach and D-line coach and special teams coordinator. He had that punt block team that always was good for a punt block or two. Blocked a couple punts against Florida State, I think in 98 or 99, that year that NC State, they really popped for me for the first time, being a young boy in Alabama. But Joe Pate was recruiting me. It was fall of 99. I was finishing my senior year, and he was recruiting me, and Michael Caine was the head coach, and we were on the way to my grandmother's house. And for you Tar Heels in here, this is the only positive thing I'm going to say about y'all today. I think it was the 9th time in a row y'all won or something like that fall. And so Michael Caine was let go. And Michael Caine, for those of you that know him, and the little I knew him, he was a good man and a good football coach. And so I was excited about, I hadn't committed to NC State yet, but I was excited about the potential of going to NC State. Well, Coach Pate said, hang in there, just hang in there with us, because now I'm going, okay, NC State's out. I got to figure out where we're going to go. There's no coach. And Coach Pate kept it all together. You know, our signing class, Jericho Cotry and myself were two guys from Alabama that he kept just saying, hang in there with us. Just hang in there. We're going to get somebody. We're going to get somebody. So I did hang in there with him. Meanwhile, Ole Miss was recruiting me. David Cutcliffe, now at Duke, and Coach Cutcliffe came into Athens High School and said, we're going to offer a scholarship and this. And he said, now we got another quarterback there. You know, Eli Manning's there. And but the best guy will play. Best guy's going to play. And I thought to myself, I ain't scared, but dadgum, I don't know if I believe that. The best guy's going to play. I give him the speed limits after his dad, the shrine of his dad in there. I don't believe the best guy was going to play, even whether I was or not. So that made me nervous about that. So then Auburn's in the mix, and Tuberville had just gone to Auburn from Ole Miss, and Jason Campbell was a Mississippi boy, and he had, Jason was already committed. Well, so Auburn was recruiting me, but they recruited me as a tight end. Wanted me to play tight end. I played a little safety in high school. See, I was faster back then. That one clip you saw, I could move all right. they wanted me to play tight end, and I kept saying, Coach, it makes me nervous. I want a shot to play quarterback. And they said, we'll give you a shot to play quarterback, but we think you're going to be a tight end. And I said, I don't know. And he said, which for an Alabama or Auburn, if you grew up in Alabama, this next thing he said would have made sense if you're a diehard one or the other. He said, don't you just want to be an Auburn Tiger? And I said, I think I want to be a quarterback more than I want to be an Auburn Tiger. So all that's going on, and now Chuck Amato gets hired and flies into Athens High School, and we're sitting there, and I pretty much tell him everything I just told y'all, almost exactly. And he said, I'm not going to try to imitate him, but he said, well, so is there anybody else really in this? Are you coming? And I said, I'm coming. And that was it, just like that. I mean, I literally talked to the man for 2 minutes, but I told him that, and he thought, well, okay, well, it sounds like you've already crossed those guys off. So, and then they hired Norm Chow, and then it all gets going. But it was actually, Ray may remember this. I got there that winter of 2000, and I don't know if there's been a snow like that since then. It snowed 2 feet, at least it looked like 2 feet to me in Raleigh that first winter I was there. I'd been there about 2 weeks. I'm 10 hours away from home, and I'm not with a freshman class. I'm there. I think there's 1 or 2 other guys there because it's at the mid-semester. I mean, it's at the mid-year. And it snows 2 feet, and so we're locked there in the Stroud Center pretty much, locked down right there. And me and I think Ray and LeVar Fisher and Terrence Holt and that whole bunch is kind of walking around right there on Western Boulevard and that area, for those of you that know Raleigh. And I'm trying to buddy up with them. I mean, golly, this is cool, man. I'm with my new teammates. And LeVar Fisher dumped me in that snow 2 feet deep, head first, faster than I could blink. And I was like, well, this is the way it's all going to get started. But it got better. It got better from there, that's for sure. It was an awesome 4 years. It was an awesome 4 years there in Raleigh. I think about some of the highlights, the win at Florida State my sophomore year, first ACC team to beat them at their place. The Notre Dame, who a few of you have mentioned that one to me today, the Notre Dame win in the Gator Bowl, winning 11 games that year was awesome. We were sitting there at 9-0, had just beaten Clemson, and right there at 7 or 8 in the country, and then dropped 3 straight, and then they would have beat Florida State at home when that was the night the goalpost got carried all the way back to school, and then we beat Notre Dame. So that was an unbelievable win and special season, and now Carolina beating y'all 3 out of 4 years. That was good. I always loved the picture. We had a great game against Virginia that year. It was a night game. They have that picture, moon over Murphy, I think it says. I don't know. It's at my mom and dad's place, but that game was kind of a shootout. Matt Schaub was over there, and we scored late. T.M. McClendon broke a run and scored late to beat Virginia there my senior year. And Tony mentioned 51 games. 51 games there was special. 51 in a row. Being out there for all of them was a blessing for sure. And mentioned I had 9 children. My oldest was born there. So my oldest, Hallie, was born. Tiffany and I got married after my freshman year. Hallie was born 2002, so that was before my junior year. And she's the only one that was born in Raleigh, so she kind of has a little special place for Raleigh too, that all the rest of them were born in California, but she was born right there in Raleigh. But it was an awesome 4 years, and Raleigh and NC State will always be special to our family, and certainly excited now living on this side to get up to a game and get up there a little more often now that we aren't all the way across the world. It seemed like they showed that clip of getting drafted by the Giants, then traded to the Chargers. That was a crazy 30-40 minutes, getting drafted by the Giants and then trading on a new team. I had to do an interview with Susie Colbert, and I had already been told by my agent, hey, you're probably not going to be there, but just play it cool, And so that was tough, kind of faking it. And my neighbor was a huge Giants fan, so they're honking horns and going crazy. Like, they don't know that this ain't gonna last very long, But it wasn't done yet, so I couldn't just tell him. But I signed a Lawrence Taylor jersey. I'd love to know where that thing is. I signed a Lawrence Taylor jersey. That's my lone thing I signed as a member of the Giants. But that whole thing was interesting how it played out. I was a good player, but on tape. But I was a better player in person, if that makes sense. So, I was going to be a mid-round guy. I was working my way up, junior, senior year. But then the Senior Bowl happened, and the Chargers were the Senior Bowl coaches that year. So they got to see me up close, which is of the things that I bring, intangibles and those things, they got to see it up close in the huddle, interacting with teammates. You know, within a week's time, that Senior Bowl team, you'd have thought we'd been together for 4 years, and the way we played and the way we interacted and just some of those little things that they got to see up close that you get to see on the tape just watching it if you're just evaluating. So I think that was, again, really helped me and why I ended up in San Diego. And they got quite a good bit of picks and things in return for old Eli, so it made sense for them. It was my first time west of Lubbock, Texas, going to San Diego, California. And I thought, where am I going? Way out there. I'd been to Lubbock because we played Texas Tech against Cliff Kingsbury and that bunch in an overtime win. It seemed like we had a bunch of those high-scoring overtime wins throughout those four years. But so I'm west of Lubbock for the first time, and I was lost. I remember calling home. Any of you have been out to California? I remember calling home and saying, I don't know where I am, but it was kind of cool for me. I mean, small town kid from Alabama. I've been to Raleigh. I've been nowhere else, okay? And I go, hey, I don't know if I was talking to my mom or dad. I was like, hey, yeah, I don't know. I'm on the 5 North. I see a sign that says 100 miles, Los Angeles. And then I see a sign that says La Jolla. And I come to find out that's La Jolla. That's La Jolla. So I was completely out of whack being in San Diego and that far from home in that big city and those highways going everywhere. But it was quite an adventure going out there and then calling it home for 16 years. 16 years we called it home. But the first couple years were tough. First couple years were really hard. And I remember really getting my welcome moment to the NFL was, first of all, my first practice play, I threw an interception. And then I remember coach, offensive coordinator pausing the practice tape and saying, why aren't you throwing the ball? And I remember saying, Coach, he's right there. Like the DB's right there. And he said, he's wide open. And I remember thinking, that's wide open? You know, like, man, I'm used to college open and then high school open. What is NFL open? He ain't very open. And so it took me a little while to get used to that. And then I probably took it to the other end of the spectrum. By the time I was done, I thought everybody was daggum open. I was going to fit it in there. I was going to fit it in there somehow. So I went the completely other end of that by the time I was done. But those 2 years were hard. But I wanted to make sure I was prepared for when the opportunity came. I knew it was coming. I knew it was going to come. And Drew and I had a great relationship. Drew, obviously, you've seen the career he's gone on to have. But we had a great relationship. It was very competitive. It was very much so him saying, you ain't getting this job, and very much so me saying, oh, here I come. But within that, we played golf, we pushed, we high-fived. It was awesome. So, you know, he knew I didn't choose. You know, it was just one of those deals. It was very competitive, but very good for both of us, and it all worked out how it was supposed to. But those 2 years, I wanted to prepare, so when I got that opportunity, I wasn't having to start from scratch. I had to build some foundation with the locker room mainly. But that brings me to this. I have a couple things through in this timeline that were kind of like very teaching moments for me that I'm still using and that I love. And growth, you know, growth as a person, as a businessman, as a player, as a husband, as a father, growth versus great growth. And I did this with our football team, and I've had it done to me, but I asked them, do you want growth or great growth? And if I'll spare you guys the exercise, but I assume we're all going to say great growth. I mean, which young man or any of us are going to say, I'm good. I just want growth. So great growth. So spirit, and I mean spirit just like the desire and the zeal to want to do well. Spirit plus comfortable equals growth. Spirit plus uncomfortable equals great growth. And so those 2 years I was uncomfortable, and I grew like crazy. And throughout my career, I had many moments of being uncomfortable. Some of it was due to situations that were coming up through a season. Some of it was a coach trying to teach me a new way to do something. So many different ways you can be made uncomfortable, and it isn't always nice. You don't always enjoy it, but you can have great growth from it. So that's one thing. And whichever field we're in, to have growth, you got to be uncomfortable. You got to be uncomfortable. And then the third thing that me and another coach of mine added to it was, and then spirit plus too comfortable is no growth. You know, so there's a balance, and we all know it's life, right? You can't be uncomfortable for your whole life. But there's an element of that. To really get some great growth, we got to find a way. So in year 13, year 9, I would chart every pass I threw after the season, every one of them, like on a big, huge board. I would chart every one, every miss, every interception. Why did you miss that one? Stupid. Shouldn't have thrown it. Idiot. All those. And write it all out. And then I would go, all right, this is one year, Ray, it was the running backs. I missed 16 swing routes to the running backs. So I'm going to absolutely, I'm going to wear that out and not miss it. So ways you can really push yourself and be a little uncomfortable so you can have great growth the following year or the following day, the following, quarter, whatever it may be. Norv Turner was my head coach there, and I know he was here with the Panthers, and Scott as well. Norv was there for 6 years, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And it was a awesome run with him. He and I saw the game a lot alike. I love to prepare in the ins and outs of coverages and all that stuff, but Norv was kind of like me, where he would just say, just look over there and shoot. If he's 10 yards off and he's running a stop, just throw it to him. And I was like, oh, perfect. That's my kind of language. It's just like, sometimes you get so caught up in, well, I wasn't sure if it was cover 3 or cover 2. It's like, I don't know. Was he open? Throw it. And so a little bit of that was me kind of playing in the backyard. And so he and I hit it off right off the bat. And that we spoke the same language. I always thought it was important. I've been around a lot of great coaches and coordinators, but the ones that you speak and you're on a different wavelength, or when you can almost finish that sentence and the play call's coming in because you know what he's thinking, that's when it gets really fun. And I think as the play caller and the quarterback, you have to have that. You have to have that. So, sometimes you see these quarterbacks that struggle, and it may not be that they're not very good. It may just be, man, these guys they don't even know what they're, the coach has a vision for a play call, and the quarterback doesn't know that that's what the vision for the play is. So then it's all out of whack. We were in a meeting one time. We had LT, obviously unbelievable running back, Antonio Gates. I could go on and on. We had a stacked team. We should have won 2 or 3 during that stretch. Darren Sproles, another running back. So we're in their meeting room one day, and Norv is running the film. And he is, getting after this running back. He is wearing him out. Darren, I'm tired of telling you can't run it like this anymore. He was going on and on, fussing at Darren Sproles. And finally, Norv took a break, and Darren Sproles said, Coach, that's not me. That's LT. And Norv said, great route, LT. He laughed afterwards. He was kidding, but it was a perfect opportunity for a setup. But Norv delivered it perfectly. But it was there's some those I think is what I'm going to miss. I miss the highlights. I'll miss the Sundays, but I think those are the meetings, the locker room, the bus rides, the hot tub, the cold tub, the sauna, the dining hall, all that, the walkthroughs. That's what I think I'm going to miss most. That's what you love about it. It's just. You can't, it's hard to get it anywhere else. It was just nothing like it. With that, I love to compete. Competing, I get some of that. My dad was my high school coach, but I get some of that from my mom. My mom hated to lose. My mom beats my little daughter so bad in any game they play still to this day. I'm like, Mom, they're 4, But she's like, well, if we're playing a game, the match game, the memory game, like the memory card game. And she goes, well, they're not paying attention. So I'm going to get it. Like, golly. So I get a lot of that from her because I'm the same way. There are no favors. We're never just playing for fun. There's no such thing as a game for fun. You can't call it a game. You're either playing a game or you're just messing around. You don't play a game for fun. It can be fun, but it's to win the game. So I love to compete. So there's lots of levels of a competitor. There's 4 levels of competitor. So I think this applies. So this is the other nugget, I guess, that I love that applies in business and anything. The first is a survivor. You're just a survivor, just enough to get by. Whatever boss asks you or whatever is required of you of your role that day, you're just going to survive, just enough to get by. I'm going to just get to the line at the last second on a sprint. I'm going to just beat the bare minimum. The next level is a competitor, and a competitor is externally motivated. So you can be a competitor and be extremely motivated. I don't know. Is it money? Is it they're going to cheer for me? Is it the coach is going to say good job? Is it I'm going to get a pat on the back? Is it, this is what is something externally motivating you, and you're a competitor. The next one is a true competitor. And a true competitor is internally motivated. So there's something within you that motivates you to want to go compete and get after it. It comes from within. Nothing on the outside gets you going. If there's fans there, if there's not fans there, you're bringing it. You wake up in the morning ready to compete. And then the last one is a dominant competitor. And a dominant competitor is internally motivated as well. And he elevates the play of everyone around him. And he's a servant leader, he or she. So I strived to be a dominant competitor. I always felt I was a true competitor, but I wanted to be a dominant competitor. I wanted to not only be internally motivated, but I wanted to help everybody else. How can I get him to be at his best? And how can I help him be at his best? And I'm going to need them. That doesn't mean you don't need them to help you be at your best too, but I wanted to be a dominant competitor and then be a servant leader. And that goes back to being a teammate. I loved being a teammate, and I hated the phrase, "It's your team." I hated that. Like, I don't know, it's your team. It's your team. No, it was never was my team. It was our team. It was never my team. It ain't my team. It's our team. And I wanted the other players to always feel that. I wanted them to always feel that, shoot, I'm just one of them. We're all in this thing together. And yes, there's an element of that comes with being the quarterback, and I took responsibility in that, and you appreciated some of that, but I wanted to make sure they knew. I don't see it that way. I see it as our team, that servant leadership, that you just want to, and shoot, we fail. I wasn't great at it all the time, but you wanted that because being a teammate, again, was my favorite stinking part of the game. Last year was a special year. It was a challenging year for all of us for a lot of reasons, as we know. But first time being on a new team. I've been in one place for, 16 years. And now I'm going to a new team, and there's going to be nobody in the stands. I might be just a competitor. I was externally motivated. Nobody in the stands. New city. My family can't really meet anyone because there was no interaction going on. It was like I was going off sequestered to work and come home, and they didn't meet one teammate, one anything. So that was a challenge, but it was a very special year. Frank Wright, the head coach, who I know has spoken here before and played here, he was unbelievable. He really was unbelievable. And he challenged me before I came there. He said, I want you to think about this. I really need you to be the best version of yourself this year for this team. The best version of yourself for this team. He said, we got to find out what that is, and I really need you to be that. Frank had been with me before in San Diego, so he's seen all the crazy outbursts and this and that and all the different things. He goes, we don't want you to be someone else. We want Philip. That's why we signed you, but I need you to be the best version of yourself for this team. And so I was really reflecting on that, and here's what it came to for me to mean was I'm no longer in the same place. When you're somewhere for so long and you're around, and we had many different teammates come in, but I was always there, that you almost can lose sight of who you are. Not who you are, I don't mean who I am as a man, but how you're interacting, how you're doing it, because you're just used to them just saying, well, that's the way Philip does it. And so now I'm going to a new place, and I go, I get it now. I think I get it. And so I went there trying to be totally myself, but to see what version of myself I needed to be for that team last year. And it was a really big growth year for me because I was uncomfortable as heck going in a new locker room that had a bunch of good leaders and was very established, a great culture. And that part, I was uncomfortable, and it was unbelievable what bond we formed in such a short time. And what was most meaningful for me was we got there and started practice on August 1st or whatever, and on September 1st, I'm roughly estimating, we voted for captains, and I was voted the captain by the teammates. And so those are the things that mean the most. Yeah, I wish we won a championship, but it's what do those other 52 guys think? And those are the things that's most valuable. What do the other people in the office think? What do the other people at school think of you? The people that you interact with is what just carries a lot. It means most. And so that team was so close and so tight, and I really thought we were going to win it last year. I thought we were going to win it all. We had a good group, but it was a special year. Frank was very big on, and I grew to appreciate the process. I grew to appreciate that thought process was don't ride the wave of results. And early on in my career, I did. We won a big Sunday game. I felt great on Monday. We lost Sunday. We lost, and media's letting them beat me up, and then we won. It's like, shoot, let's go. Who wants to? I'll do another interview. And it wears you out. It's draining. And so I grew to get better at that part. But then Frank, and so I was better at it before last year. I didn't go 16 years like that. But last year, Frank, the process. Do not ride. We're not going to ride the wave of the results on Sunday. We're going to be the same group every single week. And I grew to really love that. We had the goals. Yeah, we want to win division. We want to win championship. You have all those goals. We are playing to win the game. But let's just, focus on the process. How can we get better today? How can I get better in this period that we're about to have? How can I get better in this conversation I'm about to have? Just focus on the process, and it was really beneficial, and I think it keeps you at peace. You're not stressed out. I mean, you're not just like worried so much all week about are we going to win or lose? Well, I don't know. Let's focus on the process, and we'll probably win if we do that right. So he was great with that, and I love that. And I also think what it does is you find out who's really all in or not. All right, I'm in unless we start 0-3, and then I'm out. Well, then wait, you're in based on the results. It's like, no, I'm in. You're either in or you're not. So I love that about the process. And along with being a teammate, that was also my favorite part. Sundays were good. But Monday through Saturday, I loved Wednesday practice all day and sitting in there and figuring out each blitz and each protection and the meetings and all that. I love the preparatory part. I love thinking this defensive coordinator doesn't even know that I know exactly where the blitz is coming from because he lines up wrong. I loved like figuring that out. Like that part was fun. And so that's part of that process that I really embraced. I mentioned, or they mentioned the 9 children. So the oldest is Hallie. She was born in Raleigh. The youngest is 2. Her name's Anna. So there's 7 girls and 2 boys. And the oldest boy is in the 7th grade, and his name is Gunner. So it was funny when he was real young, I used to say, you know, it's my mom's maiden name, Gunner. But when he was real young, this is when he's 3, and now he's in the 7th grade, but I used to say, shoot, it is his mom's maiden name, but if he can throw it or shoot it, it might be all right. That kind of sounds pretty good. It's a little more of a popular name now than it was back then. But other son's Pete. So Gunner and Pete, Pistol Pete and Gunner are the 2 boys, and then the other 7 are girls. And my wife Tiffany's unbelievable. Whole career, 9 babies, and being unbelievable through 17 years playing. She was awesome because she was very steady. She wasn't from a sports family at all, and which was good. It was good. Because some of my players, some of my teammates, I'm rambling. Some of my teammates' wives know ball, know it. And they're ruthless. I go what do you mean? He said, oh yeah, she was mad at me last night. I go, what do you mean? What does mad at you mean? She said, it's ridiculous you didn't make that tackle. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So that's rough. Anybody doing that to y'all at home? I can't believe you didn't close that deal, you know? So she didn't do that. I always did really good, and everything was good. But she had a very, very good approach. It was coming from a different angle, and it was very good. It kept me very steady, and she always was good in any time of, ups or downs. But so their family's awesome. We live now in Fairhope, Alabama, which is on the east side of Mobile Bay, so it's on the east side. I grew up in North Alabama. We're living down in South Alabama. I'm the head football coach at St. Michael Catholic High School. It's a 4A high school down there that's new, that's growing. This will be the 4th year of varsity football. So it's a young high school. We got a lot of work to do, but I'm enjoying the heck out of coaching these young men. I think the part I'm most excited about is coaching the whole person, the spiritual, physical, emotional, the whole young man. Football, I love the game of it, as you can tell, but it's more than that. I think it's the character traits and the virtue and the disciplines that also cross over to life is why it's so special to me, because the same ones are what you need to do to get better in your faith, better as a husband, better as a dad, better at anything. It's the same ones, which is much like in any professional field you're in. I'm sure the same core things, they intersect. And so there's just been so many valuable lessons learned by me in that sport that I'm excited to be able to share that with these young men, because 98% of them are not going to play college football. So, yeah, teach them football, but let's help them have an unbelievable experience. Unbelievable experience. I want them to say, that's the funnest 3 years of high school. It was the funnest time of my life. And I'm better for it. oh, I remember this. Guys, in high school, we did that, and I remember this. And that's why I'm doing this when you're 25, 26, 27, 28. My dad never won a state championship, but he always said his state championship trophies were in his desk drawer from players. Coach, this is such and such. Played for you in '84. I live in Utah. I got out of the Air Force. I have 3 children. I just want you to know those high school football years were unbelievable. So that's what I hope to have, to be a part of down there, part of helping contribute to that and to those young men's success in that community down there in Fairhope. I got there. I've been all about faith, family, football. It's been faith, family, and football. I mean, that's what I've done for the last 17 years, almost 21 years. I mean, I had a coach tell me once at NC State that, hey now, it's school first, football second. Hey, just get that. I won't tell you that coach was. But so for a little bit, I've been doing football for 21 years. Faith, family, football, 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 football. Well, I got to this high school, and I'm just kind of programmed that way. I'm like, hey, we're going to be faith, family, and football. And some of them looked at me like, hey, we got to go to school. We're 16 years old. Like, yeah, faith, family, school football. You got to be eligible. Other than that, hurry up and get down here. Let's get to work. Our family mantra, my personal mantra, my high school football team's mantra, it's been on T-shirts, it's been part of some of my pro teams I've been a part of's mantra, is a Latin phrase. Last thing I got, and I'll be done. Is a Latin phrase, and I always wear that hat. If any of you have seen the interview, I pretty much, this is the first time I've had it off in about a month, is Nunc Cepi. N-U-N, I say it the Alabama way. That doesn't sound like Latin, does it? Nunc Cepi. N-U-N-C-C-O-E-P-I, 2 words. Nunc Cepi. It means now I begin, but it's a never-ending beginning. You begin again and again and again and again. And I love that because think how many times we've all said, let's go. It's another way of saying, hey, one play at a time. It's Nunc Cepi. And so our players love, the players that now that I have love it. I've had teammates that love it. It's been a part of kind of my makeup since really 2012. And I loved it on the field. After a touchdown, Nunc Cepi, you better begin again, buddy. It ain't all easy. After a pick, obviously for sure, no matter what's going on in your faith journey, you didn't pray today, Nunc Cepi. Anything, it works. It works from minute to minute, hour to hour, day to day, and it's just one of those. Sometimes you need something different than the same old stuff. Like here we go, here we go. How many times have we all heard that? Here we go, here we go, here we go. I mean, I do it too, but all the same stuff. You need something to hit you now every now and then. You need something a little different that has a little pop to it. So anyway, I share that with you, that you're always beginning again, always beginning again. You've never, you young people that are here, you've never gone down a path too far that you can't start over. You've never made too bad a grade on a test that you can't get better. You're always beginning again, and that's what I'm doing, literally beginning again in my next career path, and I'm excited about that. I had three dreams, believe it or not, as a kid, and I'm too blessed and thankful that I've been able to live out all 3 of them. 2 of them are like I'm really living them out, and the 3rd one's kind of funny. I wanted to be an NFL quarterback, a high school football coach, and the field crew guy for the Atlanta Braves, Fulton County Stadium. I played the NFL quarterback, I'm the high school football coach, and I'm the field crew guy at St. Michael Catholic. I've mowed more grass and painted more lines in these first 8 weeks on the job. I said, Dad, I got my wish. I am a field crew guy. I was like, you're in a small school, and I love the heck out of it. So I'm getting to live all 3 dreams out. And again, I think we're going to do a little bit of Q&A, but it was awesome to be here, be back in North Carolina, see all you Wolfpackers and all you others. Again, what you do with this organization, with John and so many that contribute, it really is awesome. Because as we all know, sports, it may be more important now than it's ever been with these high schools and what it's doing to help facilitate and bring joy and some discipline and virtue. It's awesome. Thank you all.
All right. Thank you, Philip. That was great. Great speech. So we have 3 footballs to give away, and the way we're going to do this, we've done this a couple times before, and Brett Favre almost took out a chandelier, is we're going to ask a trivia question, And to make it somewhat fair, we'll go regional. We'll go left with a question, center, and then right. Because I feel bad for left and center. They didn't get any raffle winnings before. And it's a trivia question that came from what Philip said. So we'll ask someone to stand and answer the question. I don't make the rules, by the way, but if you drop the football, you have to give the football back, and somebody else gets a chance. Blame John Rocco. It's not my fault. All right, so Philip's got the Indianapolis Colts football. Anybody on the left side want to answer a question and try to catch a football? Stand up if you want to do it. We'll just insert it right there. One person on the left side wants to do this.
Two of them.
Is this considered NFL open or touchdown club open? High school open. And these are questions, the answers were, it's open book. It happened within what we talked about today. How many NFL seasons did Philip Rivers play total? 17 is correct. All right, you got to catch this football to keep the football. It's slick. Where we got excuses going. It's slippery. Yes, good job. Throw. Philip, has anyone ever told you your throwing method is kind of unorthodox?
Yeah,
okay.
oh yeah. Norm Chow asked me that my first week on campus.
Yeah.
He said, are you hurt? I said, I'm not hurt.
17 years slinging it. Somewhat
my
sidearm.
My arm never hurt, though, because I threw it that way.
It probably
All these guys that
preserved it.
ice their shoulder, I never had to ice.
Don't change it. It works out great. All right, somebody in the middle want to answer a trivia question. Who in the middle wants to answer a trivia question? All right, right here in the blue shirt. All right, stand up. You ready?
That's just wide open.
I brought this one up. This is wide. This is high school open for sure. How many times did Philip Rivers go to the Pro Bowl? How many times? I mentioned it in the open. Okay. All right, we'll go with 8. It's 8. Here we go. Good catch. Good catch. Philip, you want to ask a question? Or you want me to do one more?
You got it.
All right. This is from Tony Haynes. Who wants to answer the question? NC State related. I want to go way back. All right, back there in the white shirt to make it interesting. We have a light stanchion. We've got 2 chandeliers. That's at least college open. Tony Haynes mentioned how many college games for NC State did Philip start consecutive games? 51 is correct. Here we go. He's got it. You sure you don't want to go 18 years? You got one more year? That's it? You just saw Philip Rivers' last throw as a professional. Can we thank him one more time for being here today? Appreciate you guys. Our next luncheon is September 3rd. Carolina Panthers, our kickoff luncheon we do every year. Thank you for being here. Have a great week. Awesome. Good job. They got you sticking around doing autographs or anything?
I don't know. Yeah, I'm like an hour until I go back.